Here are 4 fun ideas to do for the holidays. Number 1, put a note in some treats. Now, here's what I did one year. I decided I was going to let everybody know that I was available and ready for dating again. This was several years after my divorce, and I'd gotten my annulment. And I wanted to get the word out. So at Christmas time, I love to bake, and I made lots of yummy treats, and I put little notes in there, like, instead of just Merry Christmas. By the way, hopefully this year, Santa will bring me the love of my life, and maybe he's going to use you to do it. If you know any friends or family who live their Catholic faith and are looking for the most perfect wife in the universe, give them my number. It wasn't exactly like that. But in other words, I reached out in a fun and creative way to all my family and friends to let them know, will you help me? I didn't want to seem desperate or needy, but at the same time, I didn't let that keep me from reaching out and asking for help. So, maybe you don't like to bake, then go to the bakery and get something lovely. And I remember I gave a little basket of things to my pastor, and I said, Father, I know you know lots of good Catholic men out there, so I'm counting on you. So to your pastor, or even your neighbors, do you belong to a Bible study group? Do you belong to some other church group? And the reason I'm focusing on church is because, you can meet the love of your life anywhere. I know that. But as Catholics and as mature Catholics, we know how important and how central our faith is to our life and to our dating and to our potential new spouse. So start with that. Start with the church activities and the church friends and the church groups. If you're not a baker, buy some. But here's an aside. Once I was running a singles group at our parish, and we were supposed to bring treats, right? Some guy showed up with a paper plate, I kid you not, with Oreos, a package of Oreos, and he opened up the Oreos and put them on the plate. Okay, now we all loved Oreos and people ate them, but the rest of us who'd slaved in the kitchen for a little bit were like, no, you don't bring prepackaged stuff. So this is the holidays. You're supposed to be a gift to other people. So put some energy and some time and maybe a little money into it. Make it beautiful. And if you're somebody that's not into that kind of stuff, get a friend to help you make it that way. So put your little notes and put your little feelers out there in treats that you give away this year. Number 2, some of you are going to hate this one. Try attending the holiday parties alone. Why am I saying this? Because if you go with a friend, and especially women do this, and guys do too. But if you walk in together and you hang out together and you're laughing together and talking together and looking at other people and making comments together, you're going to be very difficult for maybe that perfect guy who wants to approach you to approach you. It's hard sometimes for men to drive a little wedge into that little security blanket that you've brought with yourself. So it also forces you to be less dependent on being with another person and therefore being open to catching the gaze or joining a conversation with other people. If you're too shy, get some help on this, because I think it's a really good point. Go together with your girlfriend or your guy friend, drive in the car together, laugh and talk, whatever, and walk in together, but then separate and go mingle. Just show people that you are open and available and not hiding. Not that everybody's hiding. Okay, I'm not. You know what I'm saying. Just go in and try it. It might sound unpleasant, but it really will increase your chances. It gives courage to people to come up to you. And also it can help force you out of your comfort zone, which is always a good thing to do. Number 3, do you have a giving tree at your parish? Now, I know by the time you get this video, it'll probably be too late to start a giving tree ministry and get that going before the holidays. But I'll never forget one time, it was actually the mid-'80s or late 80s, and I went up to San Francisco for a weekend visit. And I went to the old St. Mary's in Chinatown, and they had this Christmas tree with little name tags all over it. I'd never seen a giving tree before. We didn't have them in my area. And I saw this little girl. She wanted her name was on the little ornament tag, and it had her name, and she wanted a doll, and she wanted some skates or whatever, and that said she needed braces for her teeth. At that time, I was single and making a lot of money, and I thought I would love to give braces to this little girl for Christmas. So it was all anonymous. I just loved it. So I made arrangements to give braces to this little girl, and her parents sent me a thank you note after that a couple years. I never know what happened to that girl. I'm sure I will meet her in heaven. But I loved the giving tree thing so much. I went back to my parish and I said, we got to have a giving tree. So I remember my pastor had never heard of it, and he was like, oh, it's going to be a lot of work. I go, I'll do everything, Father. So it is a lot of work, but that's where you could get involved in your parish and meet other Catholic single people. So if you have a giving tree, get involved in getting the presents, taking them after Mass. Hanging out in the vestibule is a good way to meet people. So don't just leave Mass at the end of Mass. Hang out in the vestibule. If you're doing something, it won't look like you're just hanging out in the vestibule. But get the presents, take them into the room, work with other people. There's going to be the time around Christmas where you actually deliver the presents. There's lots of things that you could do. So if you don't have a ministry that you're already involved in, or you don't know where to sign up around the holidays, see if there's a giving tree and see how you can get involved with that. It's a good way to meet other people when you're working together for a common cause. Which leads me to the fourth tip, a really fun idea, is I did this for many years, is call up your parish, or if they can't help you, call up Catholic Charities and get the name of a really, really poor family in the parish. And then get together a bunch of people, your friends, your neighbors. And again, this is something that you could bring up or spearhead. Go to the Bible study. Go ask Father maybe to do an announcement after Mass. However you want to connect with the parish level, and say, we are putting together a turkey dinner and with all the fixings and candles and cranberry sauce and just the whole thing. I remember I did this with my husband back in the day, and we bought a beautiful tablecloth for the table. We thought that we would come into this home and there would be nothing for Christmas, and we were right. There was nothing. We got a little tree, we got decorations, we got all the food, we got stockings. It was so fun, and our focus was so filled on doing something wonderful for these people. And they loved it. And all our friends got together, and we all pitched in. And it was really a fun thing to do that involved, lots of men, lots of women, lots of kids. So these are just some of the things that I've done over the holidays where I was single, except for when I was married with the family. But I did it after that with my sisters. It's perfect for a single person to get involved in. So if you need some insight, or you can always email me, rose@rosesweet.com. Pick my brain. I'm happy to help you get back out there in the holidays, get more involved, give of yourself, be a gift of yourself, because that's what the spirit of the holidays is all about. It's about giving thanks to God for His gift first, that He gave to us of Himself, that we get to receive Him so completely in the Eucharist and in all the sacraments. But really, especially at the holiday time, we remember His gift of self to us, that calls us to be a gift of self to others, appropriately, fully, and most beautifully. And I hope that your holidays this year are fun and fruitful and filled with joy.